What's going on, good people? It's John, the Date Dr. Clark, and I'm coming to you live because I got something I want to get off my chest. I got something I want to educate the average person. I got something I want to educate you on. How to earn her trust back. How to earn her trust back. Did you all hear me? How to earn her trust back. So with that being said, I got 4 principles I want to teach you all on. It's the understanding, it's the sit back, it's the application, and it's also the stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's think about it for a second. The average person, the average way that the average man and or woman tends to lose the trust in his or her female, and sometimes it's infidelity, sometimes it's cheating, sometimes it's calling them out of their name, sometimes it's doing everything that you wouldn't want them to see you doing if they were present. Sometimes it's doing those same things that will cause them to not want to believe anything that you say and or do and or believe in. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear what it is that I'm saying. Trust is sometimes not being able to believe or to hear them or to feel as though that everything that comes out of his or her mouth is a lie. But how do we earn that? How do we understand it? How do we apply it? How do we stop what we're doing? And also, how do we apply it? Let's take a step back. Stage 1, step 1, understanding. Think about it this way. Imagine being in a classroom setting. Imagine being in a college setting, and the teacher comes in, and now it's time to go over the first lesson plan. What if the teacher immediately jumped into the quiz, or immediately jumped into the test, or immediately jumped in and asking basic questions? Of course, it's going to encourage the average person to think, well, dang, you didn't really go over anything. You didn't really increase the chance of us understanding anything. How could we possibly learn? You just throwing materials out there. So let's backtrack it towards relationships and or marriages. We have to be able to understand what it is that we're trying to study. We have to be able to understand who it is that we're trying to court, who it is that we're trying to date, who it is that we're trying to get out on one knee to propose to, so we can live a wonderful and a happier life and live long and prosper. So with that being said, what are we doing to understand the people that we're with? What are we doing to understand the person that we're with in order to increase the chance of us trusting this person, or let alone allowing them to trust us? So with that being said, What if you grew up lying to your significant other? What if you're now in that relationship that you're now lying? What if you're now in that relationship that you've done a lot of cheating? What if you're now in that relationship where this person can no longer believe you? The topic of the discussion now is how to earn her trust back. Now we have to do the understanding. Understand who it is that you're dating. Understand who it is that you're married to. What type of woman is she? Has she lived a lifestyle that she was unfortunately cheated on multiple times? Has she lived a lifestyle where she was unfortunately assaulted multiple times, whether it's verbally, sexual, or physical? Understand your woman overall. Understand your woman's her do's. Understand her don'ts. Understand her wills and her wants. Understand what it is that she loves. Understand her preference in receiving love. What I mean by that is understand whether she loves words of affirmation. Understand if she's a big fan of physical touch. Understand if she adores gifts. Understand if she's a big fan of acts of service. Ladies and gentlemen, do you hear what it is that I'm saying? Understand that she loves quality time. That's the first step. When you develop that initial understanding of who it is that you're dating, you're now more inclined to doing those necessary things that can really help embrace her, that can necessarily help to build the trust back in yourself, because obviously you've messed up tremendously. And I doubt if it was the first time, but that's another conversation. But you've obviously messed up to a place where she can no longer trust you. And when trust is tampered with, when trust is tortured in a relationship or a marriage, sometimes it's going to be a bit rocky. It's going to have a lot of frustration. So back to the task 1. So now that we developed that significant understanding of what it is that's going on, we now have to really focus on not understanding some of those basic things, but we now have to more so understand, well, what can I do with this knowledge? What can I do with this significant understanding? What can I do with the fact that I understand her ways of loving? I understand her ways of, communicating with her. I now understand the ways of sometimes the unfortunate lifestyle she may have lived. And I understand those things. That's question number 1. And that's phase number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Understand who it is that you're dating. Understanding her do's and her don'ts. Understanding the things that she loves to do. That's the first step on trying your best to rebuild that trust. Now, I know, of course, you're thinking, yeah, I already know everything about her. Yeah, I already know the ways that, she prefers love. Yeah, I already know the ways that she adores me on communicating. Yeah, she loves quality time. But if you knew so much, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in now. So humble yourself. Admit that you do not know it all. And feel free to listen to the entirety of this video. Next phase. It's the sit back. Next phase is the sit back. and really understand what it is that you now so-called that you've understood. Now I want you to sit back and realize, well, even though I understand these 5 to 7 different things that Mr. Clark just kind of told me, have I sat back and really evaluated? Have I sat back and thought about reason as to how I can apply it? Have I sat back and realized, well, damn, here's some of the things that I'm unfortunately doing that can cause my partner to lose that bit of trust in me. So now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, phase 2. Sit back and evaluate. Sit back and realize some of the things that really cause her to lose trust or him to lose trust in you. Sit back and realize what it is that your partner has stated to you numerous times. Sit back and think back on what your partner has said to you numerous times about his or her past as far as what had caused her not to be in that relationship anymore. Because if you think about it, your partner's with you because obviously some other things didn't work out with some other people. And your job when he or she tells you that is not to continue that. It's not to continue that. It's not to continue that, people. Your job right now is to sit back and realize what it is that she's unfortunately been through and what it is that you have unfortunately put her through now. If you've lost trust in communication, if you've lost trust in cheating, if you've lost trust in doing everything outside of what you need to be doing in your relationship, now it's time for you to understand, but most importantly, it's time for you to sit back and realize what it is that you have done. Whether it's sitting back and realize everything you've done and just kind of verbalizing it in your head, or whether it's sit back and asking your significant other what it is that you've done that you can now work on. If it means that she feels as though that everything you say is a lie, ask yourself, damn, are you lying to her? What type of reason are you giving her to make her think that everything you say is a lie? Has she unfortunately been with other people? Has she unfortunately been misguided while dating other people, or whether or not she was married to other people and unfortunately they may have been dishonest to her? Or has it been something that you've continued to do? Are you not sure of yourself? Do you have those insecurities that cause you not want to be as open and honest with your significant other? What is it that we're doing that's causing her to make you want to sit back and really evaluate the situation? That's more so step 2. Step 2 is more so sitting back and kind of taking a step back and realize, well, damn, what is it that I'm doing that's causing her not to want to trust me? The average person nowadays that I speak to on a daily basis, or the average set of group of people that I'm speaking to nowadays, are dealing with communication, are dealing with being dishonest, are dealing with not being comfortable allowing her or him to see our phone. And if you think about it, I mean, hey, society makes us want to believe that if he or she has something to hide, or maybe there should be a sense of privacy in our relationships or in our marriages that states that you have privacy as far as not allowing her or him to see your phone. But if you think about it, you all have been butt-ball naked. So what more privacy do you need? I'm going to say it again. You all have been butt-ball naked. What type of privacy do you need? If you think about it, you've seen this person naked. What are the odds of not allowing you to see their phone? I mean, think about it. If you have things to hide in your phone, then what, like it talks about in the Bible, things are going to come to the light. If you have things to hide in your phone, rest assured that they're going to come out, because you can't be too perfect as it relates towards being dishonest or being deceitful, as it relates towards being in a marriage and or being in a relationship. So if you're in a position now where you're not comfortable showing your significant other your phone, let's just say it only gets worse from there. It only gets ugly from there. It only gets toxic from there. And we have to do better. And we must do better. But what are some other things that we need to sit back and realize and bring to the table? What if you've unfortunately been in a place of infidelity? What if we've been in a position that we've cheated on our partner multiple times? What do we need to sit back and do? Well, the first thing we need to sit back and do is realize and ask ourselves, damn, why did I cheat? Do I have that made-up reason that we always see on Facebook and social media or in the tabloids in society that states that because my significant other wasn't doing right for me and I've constantly begged for it and it's still not working, and you decide to go out and be with other people? If that's your reason, maybe you need to sit back and evaluate, why would you consider that? Have you really exhausted all available options to refuse to do that? Or why not leave? Have you prayed? Have you worked out everything? Have you exhausted all options? Have you spoken with a counselor? Have you spoken with a parent? Have you spoken with an aunt or an uncle? Have you spoken with a pastor? Have you spoken with somebody that has unfortunately / fortunately been there that can kind of provide more positive guidance than on you doing that? Yeah, I realize what I'm saying right now is very cliche, but if you think about it, it's known to be successful. It's known to be helpful. I've seen a lot of people do it. I've guided a lot of people out of that place of discomfort. I've guided a lot of people out of that place of infidelity. I've guided a lot of people out of that place of negative-minded. And I've fortunately guided a lot of people out of that devilish style of mind frame. And sometimes when we're stuck in that place, sometimes we're stuck in doing those things that are unfortunately not good for us. So the first couple of things I kind of focus on as far as getting there is developing that understanding is necessarily learning some of those ways that we can somehow sit back and realize what it is that we're doing. And we realize what we're doing. We realize how we've lost the trust or his trust. We realize that we're very dishonest at times. We realize that we do a lot of infidelity type of things. We're cheating on our significant other. We realize some of those things. But the first two key principles are very important. We have to understand who it is that we're dating. We have to understand who it is that we're married to, so we can somehow apply what it is that can cater to him or her. The next thing we need to focus on doing is sitting back, because this is where it gets ugly. This is where when we dedicate time on working on particular issues, this is always the most challenging part of working on rebuilding trust, is sitting back, taking accountability, acknowledging what it is that we've done, acknowledging how we can kind of change it. We're not going to more so acknowledge too much on why we did it, because when we focus on why we did it, it's going to encourage us to focus on additional whys. It's going to cause us to focus on the punching and the stabbing and doing all those unfortunate things that we don't need to be at. Because when we focus on why he did this and why he did this, or who it was, or what time it was, or how come he told me this, or how come he told me that, that's the stabbing, that's the punching, and those are the things that's going to cause nothing but friction. There's no closure in that. There's no positivity in that. Sometimes when we're asking those questions, that only bruise the part even more. That only boils it. That only gets us bored. That doesn't help us out, ladies and gentlemen. Stop doing that. He or she cheated. Yes, he or she is wrong for doing such. But should you know when and where and who with and how long, whether she looked better than me or whether he looked better than me, ladies and gentlemen, what is that doing besides nothing? What is that doing besides nothing? Who is that helping besides no one? What are you embracing besides nothing? Who are you now depending on besides no one? How does that help you besides no one? Let's stop with that. There's no closure in that. If we're going to work on rebuilding trust, we need to start doing things that's going to help rebuild trust, not to re-break it down, because obviously he or she has already done that for you. Yes, I realize society and that aunt or that uncle may have told us to ask the when and the why and the why and the who. But what position is that aunt or that uncle in? What position are you in now? You've decided to stay in this relationship. You decided to still be in this marriage. You didn't decide to still stay and to be miserable and to constantly fall trapped into your misery. You decided, you made an oath, you made a promise, or you made a decision to want to stay, whether it's a marriage or a relationship, to obviously make it work. So let's do that. Let's not do everything that's going to keep us grounded. Let's mostly do things that are going to cause us to build and to uplift. So I apologize for going on a rant, but that's what I do. First key, understanding. Second thing is sitting back. Third thing, stop it. Third thing, stop it. And I'm going to keep it brief and I'm going to keep it short. You know what you're doing. You are the reason, or the other half might be the reason as to why trust has been lost. Stop what it is that you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. Stop blaming him or her for the reason that you may have done such and such. Stop blaming him or her for your reasons of them losing trust in you. Stop it. You know exactly what it is that you were doing. It's much different if unfortunately your partner came to the game and already kind of had these infidelity / cheating / these dishonest ways that may have happened to him or her. Then I get it. That's a bit different. Then of course that's some things that need to be nipped in the bud. But if you all have invested time in this relationship and you're doing things that you know that can definitely cause a lack of trust in your relationship, stop it. There's no more I can say about this. Stop it. You know what it is that you're doing. You're not dumb. You're not stupid. You're very intelligent. You're watching this video for a reason. You all in this situation for a reason. Stop making excuses. Take accountability for what it is that you need to start doing. Take accountability for that. If you're wrong, admit that you're wrong so you all can successfully move on. And if you're wrong and if you decide to admit that you're wrong, speak about it. Stop sweeping it under the rug, because you know exactly what happens when we sweep stuff under the rug. It stays there. And unfortunately, it comes out at the worst time. It comes out at a simple time. It comes out because you dropped the plate wrong. It comes out because you said something wrong. It comes out because it's going to come out because obviously you all decided not to speak about it. And deciding not is more than just making a statement, making two statements of saying let's not talk about it. Sometimes deciding not can be a nonverbal cue, such as you are just simply choosing not to do it, but more so within your mind and more so just kind of ignoring it. There's two ways. There's nonverbal cues and there's verbal cues. A lot of us do one or both. At the end of the day, both have the same toxic tension and frustration that can cause us not to want to do better, that can cause us to constantly sweep it under the rug. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the last and the final phase is applying it all. Apply the understanding. Apply everything that you just learned during this video. Apply, the ways that you can perceive love with your significant other. Apply some of those ways that he or she may prefer to be loved. Apply some of the things that we kind of chat about as far as his or her past. Apply some of those things such as refraining from doing some of those things that kind of remind you of her past or his past. Refrain from doing some of the things. Develop that understanding. The second thing, sitting back, paying attention to what it is that you're doing. Sitting back and paying attention to the things that you're not doing. Versus the thing that you should be doing. Sit back and pay attention. Sit back and pay attention on the ways of what you can be doing that can kind of embrace the trust. Sit back and realize some of the ways that you caused the lack of trust in your relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear what it is that I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. Apply what I'm saying. Sit back on everything that you need to be doing. Sit back. Speak with your significant other. That's the only way that's going to really help your relationship. Sit back, speak with your partner. Sit back, speak with your partner. Don't sweep anything else under the rug, because we already know what's going to happen when you sweep it under the rug. It's going to stay there. The third thing, stop it. The third thing, stop it. Stop what it is that you're doing, because you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what it is that you're doing. Communicate about these issues. Don't focus on the when and the where and the how and the who come and how long. Don't focus on that. Focus on more so realizing, taking accountability that you were wrong. Take accountability that you're going to try your best not to do that again, and take accountability on learning how to love each other again. A lot of people will tell you to focus on the when and the why and the how come and how long. No, don't focus on that. That doesn't provide any type of closure. That provides nosure. That provides nosure. That provides nosure, which gets you nowhere, no how, and no time. And that's the what, the when, and the why. So the last and final thing is applying it all. Remember some of those ways that kind of brought you all together. Remember the ways that kind of made you want to say that you love her just as much as you love him. Remember some of those ways that kind of made you want to date again. Remember those ways that kind of made you want to get her number or his number again. Remember some ways that you want to invite her or invite him over to your homeboys or homegirls side just to kind of have an introduction. Remember some of those things and apply some of the things as it relates to the reason why you wanted to be with him or her. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a new way that we rebuild trust, because the old way is obviously not working, because the old way nowadays doesn't rebuild trust, it revamps it. It doesn't rebuild trust, it destroys it. Invest time in my new way of doing so. Understand your partner once again. Understand each other once again. Learn to apply it once again. Learn to sit back and take accountability once again. Learn to stop what it is that you're doing, because you know good and well what you're doing. Learn that. But most importantly, apply what it is that you've learned today, this evening, this night, this morning, this afternoon, or whatever time that you're watching the video. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a 4 phase on how to build trust back with her again. Understand it. Sit back. Stop it. And apply it. You know better. It's your boy, John the Date Dr. Clark. Feel free to look me up on social media at The Date Doctor or John the Date Dr. Clark. Feel free to look up on my website, www.datedoctor, that's DATEDOCTA.com. All right, good people, and I'm out.